for performing online, really. So who is this talk for? Well, anyone that wants to perform online, even if you want to just host a live and talk about random subjects. This is for anybody to perform online. It will be from a musician's perspective, though, because I'm a musician. So what I always say, if you take one thing away from this, think about what you do as a performer and how you can translate that online. That's the main thing. You listen to nothing else. So from a musician's perspective, I'm thinking more sound, but you may be thinking more about movement. You may be thinking more about like words and talking or whatever. So yeah, but however you can incorporate your artistic practice, that is who this talk is for. But throughout it, I'm going to reference other types of performances and things that I know kind of very personally and what I've seen online. So this is not just for musicians. I've witnessed so much in the past 2 or 3 years we've been through this. So yeah, this is for anybody. Theatre productions, dances, comedy, open mics, which I've done, concerts, poetry nights, anything you can think of, that is how you can perform online. Anyway, also, this is just a personal thing. I talk backwards sometimes. I just realize it. Sometimes I say things backwards. So if you get confused with any of my words, please just ask me to clarify. So let's start. How to start performing online. All right. So the first thing you want to think of, so you've got, okay, I want to put on this performance. Cool, check, you've done that. Now you're thinking, okay, how do I start? Like, how do I get people to see this performance, whatever. So this is more about the promotion. You need to promote it in a way. And this is more of a colloquial opinion, like a personal opinion, but I think the best way to start off is find people who support virtual performances. There is no point in you trying to promote a virtual performance to someone who is talking about in-person performances and doesn't align with the same models that you have. I mean, they could do, and they might help you, but it's a bit of a moot point because it feels like you're just shouting to the wall. But anyway, find people who love virtual performances like you do, and they are out there, trust me. And you start off with social media. Now, you don't need to be a social media whiz. You don't need to be like, yes, okay, so Monday I'm going to post on Instagram, and Tuesday I'm going to post on Facebook, and then Wednesday, none of that. Don't need any of that. Really, you just need to talk to people. And if you're shy, or if you haven't done it before, if you have no sort of presence on social media, one place to start off is Instagram. Instagram, you can follow a hashtag, and certain hashtags will lead you to pages that, again, support virtual performances or support people. Really, people who might engage with your work, people who do have a social media presence. Like, that's how I met Noli. Just because, my friend Audrey was like, hey, Noli's been doing this really cool thing. Why don't you just collaborate? And here we are. That's how we got this. So, it is really good for connection, building followings and all that kind of malarkey. Discord is another one. It is a lot of time consuming though. So try and find smaller Discords. But Discord is more talkative, more finding people with common ground and coming together, and you might even find performers on Discord. But with Discord, you need to find the Discord servers. That's a tricky one. So I think I would say start with Instagram and start just, promoting on Instagram, and then go to Discord. And if you really want people to come to your performance, try local radio shows, newspapers, organizations like me, that kind of thing. Organizations who, again, promote virtual performers. I know quite a few, so if you need any recommendations at the end, I will happily send them. I put Twitter at the end, but there's a good reason, because Twitter is kind of a hellscape at the moment. So I don't know. You can go on Twitter and you might still find success there. I'm actually a social media assistant for another company in my day job. So I have been monitoring the situation, and it's okay. But, it is, I wouldn't outrightly recommend it, because Twitter has gotten rid of a lot of their moderators. And so you might get a lot of anti-maskers. you might get a lot of anti-vaxxers, you might get some horrible people who basically kind of interact with your performance and promoting. So who wants that? All right, next slide. Let's carry on from that, following how to promote it. Make sure you have a mission statement. Make sure you know why people are coming to you. Why do you want people to come? Why is your performance not different? Why is your performance special? You know, think about that. Like, think about why you decided to do this online. Think about what is your passion, or what have you done that you're so proud of? It doesn't have to be like groundbreaking, like I'm the first person to ever do a virtual performance, because one, that's a lie, and also two, like you know, those overarching statements don't work. But you could just do something like, this is something I did within a year and I'm really proud of it and I would like to share it with you. Well, that's a mission statement, you know, whatever. Just think about why you want people to come to your performance, and that will help with the promotion, because some people feel like social media is like a job, which it is. I'm not going to try and lie to say it isn't, but it makes it a bit more fun, and it makes it a bit more easier to do, easier to promote. And so even with this, like, I found this really easy to promote because I'm passionate about it, if you can tell. I would also say give yourself 30 to 45 days to promote it. Mainly just because with virtual performances, people are thinking in their head, like I'm sure you're thinking, like, okay, what am I doing Thursday? Okay, I've got this on, like EastEnders on at the half, I can catch later EastEnders, all right, great. You know, all that kind of stuff. People do a lot of mental thinking, whereas if it's something in person, they'll be like, okay, I'll block that day off and I'll go to the place, and they track in like travel time. But with virtual, people are a bit more casual with it. So don't get discouraged if people don't instantly like kind of get tickets to your virtual performance, because you know, people get in last minute, you know, people are just kind of moving things around. As I said, people can see it from their phones or whatever. So it's a bit more of a casual approach to event organizing. So yeah, give yourself a lot of time to promote it. Make sure that you have everything is clear, that you have a clear landing page. If you have a website, like we do, you know, you can use that. You could also use, you know, I would use Google Forms for this. So you can use the Google Forms. It's so easy to use Google Forms. It is very self-explanatory, and there are videos to help. Make sure you're clear about things like ticket pricing, if you want to donate, if your funding, if it's like a funding thing, make sure that you are clear about where they can send their money to, and make sure it's a very seamless process, because you don't want people to be deterred when they're registering. Whoa, words. Whatever that word is, when they're buying a ticket. So yeah, make sure that everything's very clear and just really streamlined. Eventbrite is good for that as well, but it is confusing. So I would stick to easier platforms. But Eventbrite, if you want to go for it. But that does take a bit of time to get to. And lastly, have an online flyer ready to distribute. That's why Canva is great. Whatever, you can even use PowerPoint, like Microsoft Word, Paint, or whatever. Like, you can use whatever service you want. But make sure that you have something to promote, something visual, because it sticks in people's mind. You know, you can take a picture of yourself and just add a bunch of selfies and be like, hey, come to my event. That's perfect. People love that. But whatever it is, just make sure you have a picture ready to distribute. This is, again, a neutral point. Make sure it's resized for all social media channels. And this is more of a techie thing, but for Instagram, there are certain dimensions. For Twitter, there are certain dimensions. And it's not the end of the world if you don't, but it's something that you want to think about when you're promoting, because you'll sometimes look on Instagram like, that's weird. And you're like, oh, okay, well, so just make sure you double check the dimensions, maybe Google the dimensions, and see what works best for that platform, and go from there. All right, on to the next one. This last bit about promotion. Other ways to promote your event: newsletters, online networking events, live streams. Live streams is a bit of that's if you're really good at social media. because live streams, it depends on what platform you're on. But you can promote your event in any way you want. You can just put posters in, you know, coffee shops, put a poster outside your window. Like, there are so many ways, cool ways you could promote your event. I just thought I would go over the techie stuff first, just to get the boring bits out of the way, because it is important to think about, especially if you want your event to be successful, especially if you want people to interact with you and build a following, for people to come to your event. So it's just something to kind of keep in the back of your mind. But I say all that to say is, don't get bogged down with it. Don't feel like you need, okay, I need to be a social media person. I think I've said that before, because, you know, people also see, you know, if you're just starting out, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be cool.